Endless Echo Cave, Mexico. Deep inside the rugged terrain of northern Mexico lies a cavern that challenges the very rules of physics. Locals call it La Cueva del Eco Infinito, the Endless Echo Cave, because inside this strange geological chamber, a simple tap on the wall refuses to die. Instead of fading away after a few seconds, the sound continues to bounce around the cave for up to 14 seconds, repeating itself again and again like an invisible voice trapped in the stone. Scientists and explorers from different countries have visited the cave, expecting to find a natural shape or mineral composition that could explain the phenomenon. But every measurement taken inside the chamber only adds more confusion to the mystery. When sound waves travel, they lose energy with each reflection. No place on Earth has a known natural structure capable of preserving acoustic energy for this long. Yet, inside this cave, a faint whisper returns multiple times, almost identical in volume and tone, as if the sound is being recycled rather than fading. Researchers mapped the interior and discovered that the cave lacks the smooth surfaces expected in an echo chamber. The walls are rough, irregular, and scattered with cracks, features that should, under normal conditions, absorb sound rather than amplify it. But that is not what happens here. Sensitive microphones showed that the acoustic energy behaves as though it is being held inside the space, bouncing in patterns that do not match any known model in physics. The cave seems to create its own closed acoustic loop, sustaining sound long after it should have dissolved into silence. Some scientists believe there might be hidden chambers behind the walls, but ground-penetrating radar reveals nothing. Others suggest rare mineral combinations that reflect sound unnaturally well, yet samples taken from the walls contain nothing unusual. Local residents say the cave has been considered alive for generations. According to regional legends, the echo is the voice of the land itself, repeating anything it hears so it is never forgotten. While modern science searches for a logical explanation, the truth remains out of reach. Why does sound refuse to die in this cave? What keeps the energy moving when it should naturally fade? Until a breakthrough occurs, the Endless Echo Cave stands as one of Earth's most perplexing natural mysteries, a place where even silence refuses to exist. Fairy circles, Namibia. Across the desolate expanse of the Lut Desert, thousands of mysterious circular patches stretch across the sandy landscape, perfectly shaped, precisely spaced, and eerily consistent. These formations, known as the fairy circles, range from 2 to 20 meters in diameter and continue for hundreds of kilometers. At first glance, they seem like ordinary dead patches of land, but the deeper one looks, the stranger they become. Inside each circle, not a single plant grows. Around the edges, however, vegetation forms a thick ring, almost as if something underground is shaping the land with intentional precision. Scientists have investigated these circles for decades, proposing theories involving termites, underground gases, plant competition, or even toxic soil components. Yet none of these explanations fully accounts for the strange geometry, the massive scale, or the perfect spacing between circles that repeat across such an enormous region. Satellite images reveal an almost intelligent pattern, an arrangement so precise that some researchers compare it to coded signals written into the desert itself. Termite-based theories suggest that insects might clear vegetation from the circle's center, creating a natural water reservoir. But countless excavations show inconsistent termite presence, sometimes they are found, sometimes not, and never in quantities large enough to explain millions of perfectly shaped rings. Gas hypotheses propose that subterranean emissions might poison the soil, but no significant gas activity has ever been detected. Even advanced ecological models fail to fully replicate the flawless outline seen in real life. The Namib Desert is one of the harshest environments on Earth, and yet these circles have remained stable for centuries, resisting erosion, storms, and shifting sands. Some researchers speculate that unknown self-organizing natural forces might be at work, forces capable of shaping land into patterns that defy the randomness typically seen in nature. For local tribes, the fairy circles are far more than a scientific puzzle. According to Himba legends, they are the footprints of gods or the scorch marks left by spirits that walked across the earth. To this day, the circles maintain an atmosphere of silent intention, as though each one carries a message etched into the desert floor. Despite years of study, the fairy circles remain one of the planet's most enduring enigmas, existing at the crossroads of myth, geology, and an unexplained natural order. The disappearing lake, Patagonia, Chile. In the remote reaches of Chilean Patagonia, deep within one of the most untouched wilderness regions on Earth, lies a mystery that continues to unsettle geologists and hydrologists alike. A lake, once stretching across several kilometers and fed by glacial streams, vanished completely in a single night. No overflow, no visible cracking, no flooding of lower valleys. One day the lake was there, alive with icy blue water and surrounded by dense conifer forests. The next morning, it had become nothing more than a vast, barren basin of drying mud. When the disappearance was discovered, teams of researchers were deployed to the site. What they found only deepened the mystery. There were no signs of drainage channels, no sinkholes large enough to swallow a lake of that volume, and no evidence of seismic activity that could have fractured the lake bed. Even more unsettling were sections of the ground that appeared darkened, not burned from above, but scorched from within, as if the earth had released a sudden burst of heat. The marks were irregular but unmistakable, hinting at processes well beyond known geological behavior. Some scientists proposed that the lake's water might have drained into subterranean cavities, yet extensive dye tests and tracer experiments yielded nothing. Not a single drop reappeared downstream. Others suggested that rapid evaporation caused by unusual weather patterns could explain the loss, but the volume of water was far too great, and the disappearance happened far too quickly for this to be possible. The event did not align with any known hydrological phenomenon. Local residents described the lake's disappearance with a mix of fear and reverence. Indigenous Mapuche communities speak of ancient spirits withdrawing the waters as a warning or a sign. Park rangers recall hearing strange rumbling noises on the night before the lake vanished, low, rhythmic pulses that seemed to come from beneath the ground rather than from the sky. Environmental researchers continue to monitor the area, yet the lake has never returned to its original form. Smaller pools sometimes form after heavy rainfall, but they drain or evaporate in irregular patterns, defying the region's typical hydrology. Whatever mechanism consumed the lake remains hidden, leaving behind one of Patagonia's most baffling natural mysteries, an event that challenges what we know about the stability of Earth's surface and the behavior of underground water systems. The xerothermal zone, Antarctica. Deep in one of the coldest and most remote regions on Earth lies a thermal anomaly so strange that even NASA and polar research institutes rarely discuss it publicly. Known informally as the xerothermal zone, this narrow stretch of land in the Malsen region of Antarctica behaves in a way that defies every known principle of thermal physics. Satellites designed to detect even the faintest heat signatures show a thin, perfectly dark band where temperature data simply disappears, not cold, not warm, but absent. It is a thermal void, a place where heat seems not to exist at all. When the anomaly was first detected, researchers believed the instruments were malfunctioning. After multiple satellite passes confirmed the same reading, an expedition was quietly assembled. What the team found unsettled them. While the surrounding ice fields showed normal, extreme cold temperatures, the anomaly itself refused to register on any thermal device. Even more baffling, standard infrared cameras produced static-like noise instead of readings, as if the area were absorbing or nullifying incoming signals. One of the most disturbing aspects of the region is how precise the boundary appears. Step a few meters outside the band, and equipment behaves normally. Step inside it, and every measurement collapses into zero. Scientists expected to find unusual rock formations or hidden geothermal vents, but ground-penetrating radar revealed no such structures. Instead, the subsurface appeared unnaturally uniform, almost too smooth, as though an unknown force had erased its geological complexity. Shortly after the initial mission began, the expedition was abruptly called back. The official explanation was equipment risk, but members later reported strange electrical malfunctions and a persistent low-frequency hum that made communication nearly impossible. Within months, the coordinates of the anomaly were quietly removed from several publicly accessible databases. Many theories attempt to explain the xerothermal zone, ranging from unusual magnetic interactions to exotic forms of matter. Some physicists speculate that the region could be interacting with heat in a way not yet understood, perhaps absorbing it, dispersing it, or even redirecting it. Others suggest the anomaly might be connected to unexplained gravitational fluctuations recorded in the same region decades earlier. For now, the xerothermal zone remains off-limits and largely unstudied. It stands as one of Earth's most perplexing mysteries, a place where the fundamental rules of energy disappear into an impossible silence. The Lut Desert thermal anomaly, Iran. In the heart of southeastern Iran lies a stretch of land so extreme, so hostile, and so scientifically perplexing that it challenges everything we understand about heat on Earth. The Lut Desert, known locally as -D Lut, is already famous for recording the highest natural surface temperatures ever measured, reaching an astonishing 70 degrees Celsius. But the true mystery is not the heat itself, it is the source of that heat, and the way the desert behaves as if the laws of thermodynamics simply do not apply. Unlike typical deserts, where temperatures drop sharply after sunset, the Lut remains blisteringly hot long after the sun has disappeared below the horizon. Researchers observing the region through NASA's MODIS satellite cameras noticed something even stranger: long, dark thermal bands cutting across the desert. These bands do not reflect light in a normal way and appear almost dead on infrared sensors, as though the surface is absorbing far more energy than it radiates. Scientists initially attributed this anomaly to the desert's unique black basalt formations. However, nearby regions with similar geology show nothing comparable. More disturbingly, the thermal readings suggest a continuous energy buildup from below the surface, yet no volcanic activity, magma chamber, or geothermal vent system exists beneath the Lut. The Earth's crust in this region is geologically inactive, making the extreme heat retention effectively impossible under known scientific models. Expeditions that have entered the central Lut report disorienting phenomena: heat that intensifies suddenly without wind or sunlight, air currents rising vertically from the ground like invisible pillars, and areas where electronic devices briefly malfunction. Some explorers claim to have heard faint rumbling beneath the sand, but no tectonic movement has ever been detected in the area. Theories attempting to explain the anomaly range widely. Some suggest that the desert's unique salt and mineral composition might trap solar energy in a way we don't yet understand. Others propose a far more unusual idea: that the desert may be absorbing and storing atmospheric heat at an unprecedented scale, functioning almost like a natural thermal capacitor. So far, no model has successfully reproduced the phenomenon in simulations. What remains undeniable is that the Lut Desert behaves like no other place on Earth. It defies conventional physics, resists scientific explanation, and stands as a silent reminder that our planet still holds secrets far beyond our current understanding.